I just wanted to touch base with you because it sounds from what I've been hearing out there that you did a heck of a job piloting that plane today.
Well, I tell you, it was more than just me. It was the Lord up above, because once you pull that parachute, you have no control of the plane.
Can you
So
tell me a little bit about what happened as you were going into that? You were coming into Birmingham for refueling, is that right?
that's correct. I left St. Joseph this morning, St. Joseph, Missouri. I stopped in Kansas City, downtown Missouri, picked up a passenger who was coming to Birmingham to refuel, and final destination was Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, and as you were coming into the city, when did you realize you were having some problems?
Well, when I turned about 100 miles out, I checked weather in Birmingham, and it was 1,700 feet. And when I turned final and was cleared on final, I checked weather, and it was 700-foot ceilings. And I was at 2,400 feet, and I dropped to 2,000. Didn't feel comfortable, so I declared a miss, which means you go around, not try to land. And when I did that, they asked me to fly the runway, and I told her I didn't think I could do that. And they told me to turn to 180 degrees and climb to 4,000. And when I turned, the plane just whipped to the side, and by the time I leveled it out, I felt like it was just falling. At that point, I looked at the altimeter. It was 1,700 feet, and knowing the field was around 700, I knew I had 1,000 feet before I hit the ground. So I reached up and did the last resort. I pulled a chute on that plane. Seriously, I had a plane that has a chute on it that's certified with a chute.
Did you have any idea where you were going to come down? Were you aiming at that field the entire time?
No, I broke the clouds about 500 feet, and all I could see below me was buildings and streets and cars. And I looked over my left shoulder, and I seen a vacant lot. I was told later by a person on the ground that when I broke the clouds, the plane was spinning with the parachute coming down. But for some reason, at the last minute, I got a gust of wind, and it blew me right into where I told my passenger, I said, we need to land in that vacant field if we can, because when you pull the chute, you shut everything off.
Right.
You lose all control. The controller at the tower I was talking to all the time, she said, can you make the field? I said, I can't even see the field. So when I broke the clouds and I seen that the vacant field, I just told my passenger, I said, I hope we make that field. And that's what we did. We landed right in the center of it.
How long have you been flying for?
10 years.
10 years. And in 10 years, have you ever had to do anything remotely like this?
Never. Well, I lost an engine over water one time, but it was no big deal. I just coasted it and landed.
Can you describe what was going on between you and your passenger as you were coming down? You have no control of the aircraft. You're coming.
My passenger was very quiet, and I made sure my passenger didn't hit their head or anything like that. But I was talking to the control tower all the way down. In fact, I turned the radio off at the last minute before I hit the ground, and then I turned it back on, and she asked me if I knew where I was at, and I didn't. I said, there's an interstate on one side of me and commercial buildings all around me, but I have no idea where I'm at.
Yeah. Hey, under the circumstances, could things have gone better for you?
Well, if I would have been able to gain control of the plane and not have to pull the chute, yeah, that would absolutely been better. But under the circumstances, I went through the procedures, and that was pulling the chute's the last resort. But I knew that I was at 1,000 feet, and usually you pull the chute before you hit 1,200 feet. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely on that resort. If I had to pull the chute, I don't think either one of us would be here right now.
That's amazing that you actually had that life-saving piece of technology on that aircraft. I understand the aircraft was manufactured about 2006. Do you know if that was an upgrade, or is that something that's standard equipment on this?
It's standard on the very first one that rolled off the line.
That's amazing. Just as you came down and hit the ground, at that point, how long before you were able to sort of gain your composure and really start, thinking, okay, am I okay? Is my passenger okay?
Probably 2 minutes. And we opened the door and stepped out, and another person was within 100 foot of the plane that was on the ground and told me I had a fuel leaking, so we vacated the plane and moved away from the plane.
And did you suffer any injuries at all?
No.
And your passenger, she's going to be okay?
She's going to be fine.
That's amazing. What do you guys do from here? Obviously, I'm sure that, you're...
Well, my passenger, I'll probably put her on the plane tomorrow and fly her back to Tampa, commercial airline. And I will probably rent a car, and I've got a mechanic coming in from Miami that works on my plane. And I'm going to meet him tomorrow, and then we'll decide what to do with the plane. Then I'll go back to Tampa. And then I work in Key West 3 days a week, so I've got to get back down to Key West.
I see. Do you think at this point that you're going to be able to salvage the plane?
I think it's totaled.
Yeah.
I think it's totaled the way that the prop hit the ground and the wheels hit it. And the parachute is underneath the skin of the plane, so when you activate the rocket and the parachute, it actually rips the skin away from the plane.
Yeah. Would you think that it would be wrong to call you a hero because
Oh no, there's no way to hero. I just did what I was trained to do. I mean, we're trained for this, and in this plane, and you just do it that way, and it's last resort. When you got nothing else left to do, then you pull a chute.
Well,
that's what they're.
I can tell you this, I've been in this market for 10 years, and I've covered a lot of plane crashes in that time. Most of the time, unfortunately, they don't end with a happy ending. And I think here we have a happy ending because not only are you and your passengers safe, you managed to do something that kept people safe on the ground. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but 2 blocks over, there was a group of kids on their skateboards just skating on their ramps. So, amazing story as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I thought it was tough in Afghanistan. I was there about this time last year. I come out, but this has nothing to do with that. That's for sure.
Are you former military at all?
No, I was over there at the Department of Defense, contractor.
I understand. Well, thank you so much.